Yo, what's good YouTube? It's Boardsy, and in this video I'm going to be showing off the two mice that I recommend the most and why I recommend them. So I have here the G-Wolves Hati and the Final Mouse Ultralight 2, and these are both extremely lightweight ambi mice. The Hati is 61 grams, but there is also an edition which is 56 grams, and the Ultralight 2 is 52 grams without any of the infinity skins, which I honestly just don't recommend putting on. So the Ultralight 2 is an extremely small mouse. You can see compared to the Hati, it's not anywhere near as long as tall. It's very small, and basically if you have anything aside from small hands, it's going to force you to fingertip grip it, which is why if you're just starting to get into mice, you might want to go with the Ultralight 2 because you'll be able to start off with a fingertip grip and you'll be able to get used to it and you'll have a really high skill ceiling, because every other aspect of this mouse, aside from the fact that it doesn't have software, is insanely good. Of course, aside from the size and the fact that you have to force yourself into fingertip gripping it. It has probably the crispiest clicks I've ever felt. Just very crisp. The side buttons are very easily spammable. Let me try to And if you play Fortnite and you use them for building binds, you can easily just slide your thumb down and hit them, which makes them really good for Fortnite, which is what I'm sure a lot of you guys who watch me and play games, I'm sure a lot of you guys play Fortnite. Well, the Hati, the side, let me do the clicks first. The clicks, they use a golden micro switch. They're obviously really good clicks. Both of the mice have light clicks, but something about the Final Mouse is just a bit crispier and more firm, but the Hati's clicks are nothing to worry about. I really like them as well. But the side buttons on the Hati are much firmer and not as easy to spam down. And you can't really slide your finger to build with them. You're going to have to do something where you hit it with different parts of your thumb. As I showed before, you can just kind of slide your finger around to build with them. Now getting to the scroll wheel, this is one of the flaws of the Ultralight 2. It has no defined steps on the scroll wheel. It's really non-rigid. I don't know what the word would be. And it's just not a very desirable scroll wheel. It's also insanely thin. And I personally just don't like it very much, but it's not a huge deal, but the Hati does have a very good scroll wheel. You can see that it has these little bumps on it, and they make it really stick to your hand stick to your finger. It feels, and it's a medium amount of rigidity. I don't know if that's a word, but even if it's not, you know exactly what I mean. And yeah, I'd say there's a spectrum in terms of defined steps. You have the Ultralight 2, which has none, and then you have the G Pro Wireless. Where is it? Oh, it is here. And it has a very rigid scroll wheel with very defined steps. I'd say the Hati is in the middle, and it finds a perfect balance, which is something I really like about it. And yeah, both of these mice obviously have DPI buttons. The Final Mouse, I'm pretty sure it is 400 DPI, 800, 1600, or 1200, and then 3200, I believe. Don't quote me, it might be 1600, not 1200. But there is, of course, no software, so you're bound to those DPIs that are preset by Final Mouse. While the Hati comes with I think it's 6 DPIs that you can range through, but you can customize it in the software to whatever you want. Both of these mice use a PMW 3360 sensor, and wait, did I say PMW? I don't know. They both use a 3360 sensor, and the tracking's perfectly fine on both. I've had no issues with either mouse. Some people critique the Final mouse by saying that the sensor maxes out at 500 hertz, but honestly, it's a 1 millisecond difference, and you seriously, like, a human eye cannot tell a 1 millisecond difference. The 500 hertz is exactly as smooth as the 1000 hertz. There's no way to, like, tell the difference. And the cable on the I'd say that easily the cable on the hati is better. It's a lot lighter and less firm than the Ultralight 2 cable, but I don't feel like you need a paracord on either of these mice, especially if you have a bungee. I wouldn't recommend this bungee though. I'd recommend a Zowie Commod, which I have coming in. So no, and the feet, the stock feet are better on the Ultralight 2. It comes with these 100% pure PTFE feet, while the hati, it doesn't come with these. I could actually open the box, I guess. Fuck. Hold on, give me just a moment. It comes with these Teflon feet, which just aren't that good, to be quite honest. It's probably one of the biggest issues. It's probably the biggest issue with the hati. But you can obviously just get aftermarket feet to replace it for only like less than $10 more, and you're still going to be paying like $40 less than you would for a Final mouse, so it's not too big of an issue. But the reason I say if you're just getting into mice, you should start off with the Final mouse is because since it's so light and so small, you can be extremely precise with it, which is something that you can obviously emulate with the hati, but I feel like there is a higher skill ceiling on the Final mouse, because I do see a lot of Kovacs players who have top scores, they use the Ultralight 2. But obviously it's not the best evidence, and the hati is a much safer shape, and it's also a lot cheaper and more available, so both of these mice are really good. But if you're starting out and think you are only going to want one mouse, I would say go with the Final mouse, because it has very good aspects all around, and the only issue is the size for me personally, along with a lot of other people. So if you can get used to the size right off the bat, it's probably the best mouse in the market. But if you have bigger hands, because I would say if you have hands above my size, the Final mouse is just not going to be like very comfortable, and you obviously want comfort in a mouse. So if you have bigger hands, I would say go with the hati, but you're not going to go wrong with either of these mice. It's just going to be a lot easier to get adjusted to the hati, but that comes at the expense of like 10 grams and a bit more satisfying clicks. So I hope this video makes sense and helps you guys out when you're determining what mouse you want to buy. Thanks for watching, and it's been Boardsy. Make sure to like and sub.